A lot of people struggle to raise private money, but what if you were able to make one phone call, just one phone call, and raise $900,000 in private money in only 30 minutes? Well, that's exactly what my guest just did 3 weeks ago, and she's going to share with you in this episode exactly how it happened. Today, I'll be talking with Carly Mannino, single mom and full-time real estate investor, and she's going to share exactly how she does it, what she says, and how private money completely transformed her real estate business. So if you've been racking your brain trying to figure out how to raise private money, you are not going to want to miss 1 second of this episode. Let's dive in.
If you're a real estate investor and are wondering how to raise and leverage private money to make more profit on every deal, then you're in the right place. On Raising Private Money, we'll speak with new and seasoned investors to dissect their deals and extract the best tips and strategies to help you get the money, because the money comes first. Now here's your host, Jay Conner.
Well, hello and welcome to another amazing episode. I'm Jay Conner, the Private Money Authority, also the host of today's show, and I'm so excited to have a mover and shaker real estate investor right here in North Carolina. And let me tell you, my guest is making it happen. Now, she's originally from this little town up in Ohio by the name of Lisbon, if I'm saying it right. Anyway, she graduated up there from Kent State University. She's got her degrees. She's got the business management degree. She's also got a degree in computer science technology. So back in and after 2008, she decided to move along with her two sons to North Carolina, where she determined to no longer just sit at a desk. She wanted to start her own business as a real estate investor. So after investing in her education, and she's got some phenomenal education. She's a LeGrand student, Larry Goins, Vena Cox Jones. She's even been to my live events as well. She's learned about all different facets of real estate investing and how to grow her business. Well, she continued her real estate investing education. She became a master's student with Ron. She did mentoring with some fantastic brothers that both she and I know. And I think she's going to share the story that actually her first real estate training came from yours truly. Anyway, that's where the story began. And with that, I'm so excited to have here on the show my good friend, Carly Mannino. Hello, Carly, and welcome to the show.
Hey, Jay, how are you?
I am doing fantastic, Carly, and I'm just so excited to share you with the folks that we've got here on the show and the podcast. My first question is what did your real estate investing business look like before you started using private money? For all I know, you didn't have a business before private money, but if you did, what was it like beforehand?
Oh, thank you, Jay, for having me. I did not really have one. I was learning, I was studying, but I didn't get to actually have a business. I didn't have any way to start. I didn't have any money to start because I didn't know quite what I was doing. So I started working on getting my education and learning the process of getting real estate. And then you happened to show up at a meeting I was at talking about private money. And who doesn't want to hear about getting more money that you don't have? So it was a great way to start.
There you go. So as I recall, you learned about private money at a real estate investing group that I was speaking at in Raleigh. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That was back when it was TRIA, and you were the speaker of the main meeting that month.
There you go. Well, let's make sure that everybody's on the same page here. What is your definition of private money?
Private money is having a relationship with an individual, not a company, with an individual where you have a conversation and they commit a certain amount of money to invest in, and we secure that safely with a real estate piece of property and a note from the attorney. They receive that and they earn a good amount of interest, and their investment is safe and protected.
So in your world of private money, you're borrowing money from individuals, from human beings, right?
Yes, 100%.
So you're not talking about hard money, right?
No.
So what is the difference between a private lender and a hard money lender?
Well, from what I understand, because I've never used hard money, is often it's a company, but they also like to use these ugly things called points, and nobody likes those. Um, and I deal with individuals, so I like to meet people, build a relationship with them, get to know them, explain what I'm doing, make sure they're comfortable, and we go from there and we build a relationship and we do multiple transactions, and they get to make lots of money.
So where do you find these private lenders?
Well, just kind of the same way I found you. They started now it's called the NC but I have gone and talked to people there. I do a lot of networking. If you ever see me in an event, I always tell my people when I get there, I'm going to go make some new friends today. And I get my business card and I go and I try to talk to as many people as I can, find out what they're doing and if I can help them and if they can help me. So a lot of times I'll meet people and they'll find out. But I tell everybody. I get a lot of referrals because I tell all my friends and people know what I'm doing. And once I tell them, they tell other people, and then they'll call me and say, hey, I know this person. Did you want to talk to them? And they give them my information and we start talking. So a lot of my business, luckily, in the real estate and in the private money has come from referrals.
So your private money and your private lenders has come from as a result of networking and referrals, right?
Right, because I didn't feel like I knew people that had money because, you think all your friends don't have any money, but then I went to your training and found out we could really start looking through. People have a lot more money than they think, especially when you have IRAs and different forms of financial tools that they can use to create even more money for themselves.
Right. So did you get private money lined up from your private lender or private lenders before doing your first deal? In other words, do you recommend focusing on getting private money lined up first, or where in the process of being a real estate investor do you recommend a real estate investor that's particularly new getting private money lined up? When should they do that?
I recommend getting the money first. Absolutely. I happened to do it almost simultaneously on my first one, but my first one was very small. I only borrowed $12,000. And it was someone I met at the RIA meeting, and the house I bought was only $6,900, and I ended up selling it for $60,000. But it kind of rolled; they were very close within a week or two of each other.
Wait a minute now. Did you say you bought a house for $6,900 and you sold it? And you sold it for how much?
$60,000.
$60,000. Well, how much money did you have to put in that house?
$200.
So are you saying your profit was 60?
Well, if you want me to back up a little bit, so I borrowed $12,000. I put $6,900 to purchase the house, $200 to repair it. So I kept the difference. That was about $5,000. I then sold the house. I got a $6,000 down payment, so that put me back at 12. I received the monthly payments for 6 months, so that was another maybe $4,000. I sold a partial on the note, got $17,000 to put in my pocket, paid off my private lender. Next summer, that note will come back to me and I'll get all those payments for another 15 years.
So you really combined multiple strategies on that deal. You used private money to buy it,
yes,
but then you sold it with seller financing on terms.
I did.
And you took a note back. And then thirdly, you sold off a percentage or a partial of that note to put money in your pocket to the tune of $17,000.
Yes. And then I'll start getting those payments at the end of the year. And that was my very first real estate deal ever.
That is amazing, Carly. That is amazing. So let me ask you this. Am I remembering correctly? I saw you at an event within the past month, and you told me that you had raised, was it over $900,000 in private money?
Yes, I did. With one.
All right. We want to hear the story. I want to hear the story. Well, exactly how much did you raise? 900 and how much money?
I needed 800, so I figured if I needed 800, I might as well ask for 900.
Wait a minute now. Are you saying you always get lined up more than you need?
100%.
So you needed 100,000. Say what?
Whether you need it or not.
Whether you need it or not. So you needed 800,000 for the deal, but you actually raised 900,000.
Yes, I did.
I love it. All right, let's hear the story. How did you raise 900,000? How did you contact them? What was the connection? What did you say to them? Did you try to talk them into anything? Did you present an opportunity? Tell us the whole 9 yards.
Well, like I said, networking is very important to me. So this came about a few months ago. I told my best friend in California that I was going to be looking for some money for some deals I was doing. And she had given me a gentleman's name in Arizona. I just gave him a call. I said, I don't have anything right now, but I just want to talk to you, try to get to know you a little bit, know what your process is, how I do it, how you do it, figure that out. And we left it at that. It was maybe a half-hour conversation, just getting to know each other a little bit. And then I got this great offer presented to me last month. A wholesaler had brought me a property. Unfortunately, his comps weren't quite right, but they were selling the property at $800,000, and the ARV was 1.35. So the wholesaler said. So I was looking for some private money, and I started going through my Rolodex, as Ron likes to say. I have about 10 or 11 private investors right now, and I said, well, I'm going to call him because I knew that he worked with a group of his friends that they invested. And I called him, and like you said, I never present a deal when I'm asking for money. So I asked him, what he had going on and what he was doing. And I let him talk because people love to talk about themselves and let you know what they're doing. And I love to listen to it. So I liked to hear what he was saying, and it was very interesting. He asked me what I was doing, and I told him I was doing some lease options and terms, and he was very interested in that. And I said, well, I'm always looking for new investors if you want to do, to try you out. We could do a small amount, 50,000 or less if you just want to see how I do it, see how much money you get to make in the short term and get that back. And right as we were getting ready to hang up, I said, well, as you know, I always do the lease options. I do terms. But I do have this one cash deal I'm working on. And I'm looking to raise about $900,000. And, we talked for a little bit, and he said, that's a little bit more than our group usually does. We usually try to keep it under $500,000. And I said, okay, I understand, no worries. And he was quiet for a minute. And he said, let me call my friend. I was like, oh, sure, yeah, no worries, let me know what they say. And we talked for a few more minutes. I said, have a great day, I'll talk to you soon. And he texted me not a half an hour later and said, I got you 900. And I was
wow.
Like, that's amazing.
That is fantastic. Well, Carly, you just said something in your story that's very, very important, and I really, really want to circle back around to this. You said your initial conversation with this individual, you told him in that first visit that you didn't have a deal right now, but you just wanted to get to know each other and see if you might possibly, do business down the road. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what is so important about that part of your story is I learned the hard way years and years ago when I started out attracting private money that I should never, on a first visit, talk about private money and what it is that I'm offering in the private lending program, and also talk about a deal, because I found out that makes me sound desperate, even if I'm not trying to sound desperate. It sounds like I'm asking them to fund that deal, or I'm going to lose that deal. So my hat is off to you that you made that initial phone call just to establish that relationship. Thoughts on that?
Well, this very intelligent man once told me not to ever introduce a deal and ask for money at the same time. So thank you, Jay Connor. I took that to heart. And like I said, if you ever go to a networking event that I'm at, and I'm always at a lot of them, I'm always up talking to people, and I always like to talk and get to know people better and find out their situation and what's going on. And So it wasn't too hard because, like I said, a friend had referred me. I called him and said, "Hey, my girlfriend gave me your number," and he was like, "Oh yeah, I love her," And we started talking. And it's easy to build up a conversation when you have an introduction, even if it's a cold introduction. She just gave me his name. She didn't call him or anything. And we started talking, and we went from there. And it's if you're interested in people, they're going to be interested too. It can't be one-sided. You definitely want to know what they're doing, what's going on with them, and how you can help them, and that helps yourself.
You mentioned a moment ago that you've got 10 or 11 or so private lenders right now lined up. Tell us some more stories about how you found those private lenders, how much money they've pledged. So, I can hear what kind of range of private money you've got from each one. But first, tell us about how you met and started networking with these other people.
So I have about 10 now. I will say almost all of them have been through a networking event, through a RIA group of some sort. I'm in different RIA groups throughout the country. I actually, after I got my first couple deals, I flew to San Jose, California, because I think that the investors out there, when I ask them for $20,000 or $30,000, they don't think I can make any money with it. So I can ask them for a huge amount of money, and I could do multiple deals instead of the amount that it would cost them to do one deal. So I went out there, I went to a networking event, I established a relationship with a couple people there, and they in turn introduced me to other people out there. So I built that group of people. A lot of them, I'll start small just for their comfort level, under 50,000, just so they could see, because I can do that with a terms deal. I don't need very much money, if any. But then I have people that are up to 400,000 and 500,000, and now I have up to 900,000. So they do run the gamut. Luckily, with the way I do lease options, I don't need a whole lot unless there's just some repairs, which I do have 2 properties right now I'm working on that have some heating issues. So those are going to cost me a little bit of money to get set up. But otherwise, it doesn't take too much. And you can get it started, get a relationship, build that relationship, and go up from there.
So let me ask you this, Carly. How did it feel when you were able to really break through and really finally realize that private money was the thing that was going to make so much difference in your business? What did it feel like when you got that first private lender that said, "Hey, I've got X number of dollars. Yes, I want to do business with you"?
Yes, my first one, it was $12,000, and that was the world to me because I didn't have $12,000, and I didn't really need $12,000. As you know, I only paid $6,900 for the house, and $200 in repairs, and that was just some drywall. And it was amazing. It felt great because I was like, wow, this really works. Like, I could buy real estate. People will give me money to do this, and they get to make money in return, and it's a win-win for everybody. And then we get to also help people move into homes that otherwise wouldn't qualify for bank loans. So it's really a full circle of being able to help people. Everybody wins in the circle.
Absolutely. Has there been any kind of significant mistake that you've made so far in this world of private money that you would give as advice? Don't do what I did, and you don't do that anymore. Anything come to mind?
Well, I have been blessed that I listen to everything you say, and I do what you tell me to do. And thank God everything has gone smoothly. So I pray it continues to do so.
All right. So really no big mistakes, no big hurdles to overcome. Well, I guess that sort of speaks to getting the right training up front, right?
100%, because like you can see, I have all your programs here, and I go step by step. I make sure the attorney does all the paperwork. I don't touch anything. I don't touch the money. No one gives me a dollar. It all goes to attorneys. Everything is done legally. So we just make sure everybody is covered, everybody is safe, and everybody makes money.
That's awesome. When you first started actually raising money with that particular property in mind that you needed $800,000, how long did it take you to get the $900,000 pledged from the private lender?
That took no time at all. We were in Orlando when I was talking to you about it. I talked to LeGrand about it. I talked to you about it, and we had just about gotten it close to getting under contract. And I called this individual maybe 3 days later, and he called me back within a half an hour.
So you got that $900,000 pledged literally within 3 days of actually looking for it, so to speak.
Yeah, and the other 2 days I really didn't look for it.
So really, you got it in 1 day. Actually, you got it in 30 minutes from the phone call.
Right.
I love it. Well, Carla, you are such a testament and just proof that by taking action, knowing what your private lending program is that you want to offer to individuals, then it doesn't take long at all. Now, one thing that you have mentioned a couple of times is how you use private money in conjunction with a lease option deal. Talk through that as to how that works.
Well, that is great. That helps a lot of people, especially if you're just starting out in real estate, even if you're not, but it does help you a lot if you are just starting out. You might not have a lot of money to get started. When you build up these relationships and have these conversations with people, it's really helpful to start building up the money, because maybe you need a $10,000 down payment, or if you need some earnest money, or there's repairs and you don't have that money. You build these relationships and raise this private money, so when you are ready, you can move very quickly. We like to close as quick as possible, a week, 14 days. And you can simply call your person, say, here's the property, they wire it to the attorney, they get their promissory note, and everything is legal. They get all their documentation, everything that they need in order to go ahead and know that their money is protected. And we can go ahead and close quickly, and help the seller out who's usually having some kind of difficulty, and we want to help them out. So we help them out of their situation, and then we help the new buyer that won't qualify for a bank loan and get them help as well. So it really is helpful all around.
That is fantastic. What's your favorite reasons for using private money?
Well, originally it was putting money in my bank account because I needed some.
Let's stop right there. How do you put money in your bank account by using private money?
Well, after we do the closing, whatever the difference is over the cost of the closing has to be refunded to someone. And in this particular case, that someone is me. And then I decide from there what to do with the money, if it needs repairs or if we need to make some payments. Sometimes we have mortgage payments coming up and insurance and different things. So that definitely covers that. And sometimes I just need money for myself. So what you just said is you're actually getting money from the purchase of the house at the time you purchase it. And did you take any of your own money to the closing table when you bought that property? No, never.
So you borrowed more than you needed to buy it, and you brought home a check.
Yes.
How can you go ahead?
A big check.
A big check. Well, how can you bring home money from the purchase? I mean, how can you borrow more money than you need to buy it? Isn't that like over leveraging the property?
No, not at all. So a wise man, Jay Connor, told me I had to get paid 3 times when I buy a house. So always get paid when you buy a house, get paid when you sell a house, and then get paid in between. And so when I borrow the money, it's never over leveraged because we get the house at a great deal, and we're borrowing a very small percentage compared to the total price of the house. So the seller or the lender is never at risk because we don't borrow a significant amount compared to the price of the house.
So the reason you're able to bring home a big check when you buy is because you're borrowing not based on a percentage of the purchase price. You're borrowing based on the percentage of the after repaired value, right?
Right.
So that house that you bought for, what was it, $6,000 and some bucks?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you borrowed $12,000, so you're bringing home like a $5,000 check or so, less closing costs. But then did I hear you say the after repaired value? You sold it with seller finance, and the after repaired value was like $60,000, right?
Yes.
So your private lender that loaned you money of $12,000 is really very well secured because the value of that property that they loaned you money on was worth 60,000, but because you bought it at such a deep discount, you're able to borrow more than you need to buy it, and therefore you bring home a big check every time, right?
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. Well, it sounds like your most favorite and effective way for raising private money is by networking, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you're a testament to the fact that your networking ability is directly correlated to your net worth. Would you agree with that?
I would definitely agree with that.
I love it. I love it. So, in this market, Carly, it's difficult for some real estate investors to find deals, particularly if they are relying on the multiple listing service. I mean, there's no inventory. There's nothing you put a house in the multiple listing service to sell and, it's gone just like that. Right. So that particular house that you bought for $6,000 and some bucks that was worth $60,000, how did you find that deal?
Well, this was a few years ago. This was shortly after my very first time coming to see you. So this one actually was on the MLS, believe it or not. I think this is the one and only house I've ever done on the MLS. And this was before the market got too hot. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. They were asking more, but I'm a good negotiator. So we got them down to $6,900 on the negotiation. They were asking quite a bit more than that. But I did work with a real estate agent, and she helped me. I tried to explain to her kind of what I was looking for, and properties that have been on the MLS for a long time, over 3, 4, 5 months, that hadn't been selling. And we negotiated. It took a couple weeks to negotiate, but we did get them down to the price I was looking for. And we got it closed right away. But normally, that's the one and only house I've ever done on MLS, and I don't really look there for my deals. Like I said, I get a lot of referrals. I have a lot of wholesalers that bring me deals, and we do some marketing as well.
That's awesome. Well, Carly, I tell you what, I know that someone is listening that would love to be able to raise private money like you do and like you have. And so I want to give away a free gift right now. I'm so excited about this brand new private money guide that I just finished writing, and I want to give it away for free. It's called 7 Reasons Why Private Money Will Skyrocket Your Real Estate Business and Help You Build Incredible Wealth. And if you want to get on the fast track to private money, just like Carly has, go to www.jayconner.com/money guide. You can download it, get on the fast track to private money, and never miss out on a deal for not having the cash and the private money, just like Carly Mannino. Get on over to jayconner, jayconner.com/money guide and get your private money just like Carly has as well. Well, Carly, obviously you have proven that you know what you're doing, and someone just might be interested in doing business with you since you've proven to know how to do it. So if we have someone that's listening and wants to reach out to you, Carly, and talk about being one of your private lenders, how do they get up with you, Carly?
Well, there's several ways to get hold of me. You can always get my email at DiamondCapitalAssets. That's the name of my company, DiamondCapitalAssets@gmail.com. You can call me on my office number. We have that here in Raleigh, 919-964-0264. We're on Facebook. We do have a Facebook page under Diamond Capital Assets. We're also on TikTok. We are on Instagram. We are on the other one. I can't remember. Twitter. Thank you. So yes, we're around. So you can definitely find us. My company's name is Diamond Capital Assets because we're in the capital of North Carolina. So Diamond Capital Assets, and reach out to us. We're always looking to get new investors because we've got a lot of deals going on. I've got a new set of properties, probably a set of 40 houses. So a little bit of private money would probably be helpful for that one.
Wow. And as you said, you create win-win scenarios. So again, Carly's company, the name of it is Diamond Capital Assets, plural, diamond, like a diamond you wear, Diamond Capital Assets at gmail.com. And so that's her Gmail address. Again, Carly's phone number is 919-964-0264. And we're going to have this information in the show notes as well. But Carly's phone number, she actually picks up the phone too, is 919-964-0264. And you can find her on her social media, searching for Diamond Capital Assets, all the social media. Well, Carly, what is your final advice to a real estate investor looking to get private money for their deals?
Just like we like to say, open your mouth, go talk to people. If you're at an event, stand up, talk to people. A lot of times they have the private lenders stand in the center of the room. Make sure you find out who those people are and go talk to them. And just take an interest in other people and find out what they're doing and what's going on with them, and let them know what you're doing. And that way they'll, if you can either meet somebody that's doing this, or they can refer you to somebody, and hopefully you can help them as well. And it's a win for everyone.
That's awesome. Carly, thank you so much for sharing your story, your lessons, and your success.
Thank you. It was nice.
Thank you, Carly. Thank you, Carly. Well, there you have it, my friend. Another amazing episode and story of a person just like you that is attracting and raising hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in private money. And she's doing it by asking nobody for money. She's networking. She is sharing her story and offering a fantastic private money opportunity. And you can do the same thing. I look forward to having you join us right here on the next episode. I'm Jay Connor, the Private Money Authority, wishing you all the best. Here's to taking your business to the next level right now with private money.
Are you feeling inspired by the knowledge you gained in this episode? Then head over to jconner.com/moneyguide. That's jconner.com/moneyguide and download your free guide that shares 7 reasons why private money will skyrocket your real estate investing business right now. Again, that's jconner.com/moneyguide to get your free guide. We'll see you next time on Raising Private Money with Jay Connor.